We're on the Mishnah on Kuvav. Kuvav Amid Aleph, top of Kuvav. B'simanav u'b'meitzarav. So the Rashbam explains. This doesn't really explain anything. So someone selling to his friend, selling a base core, and he says it's a sada. And it's within these markers and these landmarks. So, meaning he said essentially, I'm selling you this property that's bordered by Quentin Avenue and Kings Highway between 31st and 33rd. He gave him where it is. And then, Pachas Mishtos, if it turns out that he said to him, he told him a base core, he told him an amount, it's going to be a base core. And then when you actually measure it, it's the amount is not accurate. It means he told him where it is. He told him it's this field. And the purchaser agreed. But it turns out that the field he sold him was not a base core. A base core is, let's say, 30 saw, and it turned out it was only 25 saw, or 35 saw, 40 saw. So, pachas mishtus. Now, this is very controversial, whether the word is pachas mishtus or pachas shtus. I feel, I'm going to go, if you don't mind, I'm not going to go with the way the Rashbam explains it, l'chatchila, but the easier way, which is the way we have it in our Mishnah, pachas mishtus. If it's less than a sixth, meaning if the difference between a base core and the amount that it actually is smaller than a sixth, higiyai, then it's a done deal. Everyone is just meichel, because when you say if you're saying this field, so you're saying as it is, it's an as is condition. Doesn't mean under all circumstances, but it means generally as long as it's within reasonable bounds. So if it's less than a shtus, then it's a done deal and nobody can back out. Ad shtus, but on the other hand, if it's more than a shtus, up till a shtus, meaning if it's, let's say, a half, 50% more, or half the size of what you promised. That's what ad shtus is. Ad shtus means from above or from below up till a shtus, you knock it. Then, if it comes out that it's more, that the amount, the property is bigger, then the buyer is going to have to give back the karka, or he's going to have to, if it's less, the seller is going to have to give back money to the buyer. So itma. Now we're going to get back to this, whether it says pachas shtus, mishtus, or pachas shtus, because if you've been in this business of learning Gemara for a while, there's always, whenever we have a question of, because we used to, even though there's not I know, obviously, there's always the amount above the amount you're allowed to make a difference, and below, and then there's if you get exactly a sixth. And that's the way it works with I know. You have a sixth itself as a different din than less than a sixth difference or more than a sixth. So what about over here? We only said more than a sixth and less than a sixth. We didn't say what about exactly a sixth. So itma, Rav Huna Amar, shtus kapachas mishtus. Rav Huna says that precisely a sixth is treated the same as less than a sixth, meaning that it's higiyai and it's overlooked and they continue with the deal. The transaction stands as is. Yehuda Amar shtus kiyosem mishtus. He says, no, if it's a shtus, then then they're going to have to make good on the overage. It's treated as if it was more than a sixth. And where does it come from? Rav Huna Amar shtus kapachas mishtus. Rav Huna says that a sixth is equal to less than, is treated as less than a sixth. Hachikama. Pachas mishtus ushtus bichlal. Higiyai. When the Mishnah said pachas mishtus higiyai, it doesn't mean just pachas mishtus. It means pachas mishtus ushtus bichlal. When it says pachas mishtus, it means it includes also the case, right? They're each being medayik. Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda, one's being medayik for the part we said pachas mishtus. If you say pachas mishtus higiyai, it's mashma, but a shtus is yinaka. So he's going to say no. When it says pachas mishtus higiyai, it doesn't mean to the exclusion of a shtus, that also excludes the shtus. So Rav Huna has to answer Rav Huna is more supported by the Seifa. So he's going to explain the ratio that it means Pachim B'Shtus and Shtus B'Chla. Yosem Shtus Yinak, and then the Seifa of the Mishnah is very good according to him. More than a Shtus Yinaka, but anything less than that is going to be Higiyah. Yehuda Amar Shtus Ki Yosem Shtus. If Yehuda who says that a Shtus is like more than a Shtus, that makes sense to him. Ad Shtus V'Shtus B'Chlal Yinaka. And he's going to say the other way around. When it says the Seifa of the Mishnah, even though it doesn't sound like it, it also includes the case of precisely a sixth. Meisrei, back to Gemara. V'simana of a Meitzara, we say in the Brisa, and this is again the same case. Someone said, I'm selling a base core. V'simana of a Meitzara, piche shtus, I hoise shtus. If it was a sixth less, or he added a sixth, Hareyu Kushum Hadayanim, it has the din of Shum Hadayanim. So the Rashbam explains those as Shum Hadayanim. It says it has the same din as somebody who, if the Dayanim got involved in a case of a Yasam, who they have to sell off some of his property to pay for Mizainis, for an Almano, for the sisters. So in order that the Yasam doesn't get rooked, we have to have a bezdin evaluate to make sure that the sale of the estate is being done on behalf of the Yisayimim at a fair amount. So if the din is, we say that it has a din of if the bezdin gave their okay to a sale, and then later on it turns out that the bezdin messed up, and the amount of what the property they sold was worth more or less. Usually in the case of Yisrael, I guess it was worth more than what they sold it for. So we say that the machar is batal. If it's more, we say if the difference between what it was worth and what the bezdin sold it for was a sixth, it's going to have the din of shumadayan. Well, I didn't say that right. The din of a shumadayanim is that it's machram batal. So we're saying, so the mashmais from this is, if you sell it, if you sell it saying that I'm selling this particular property, and the person you're selling it to is standing there and he understands which property you're talking about, and we're saying picha shtusay hashtus, if it was more or less by a sixth, by precisely a sixth, it has the same din of a shumadayanim, which is going to be when it's exactly a sixth, that it's machre batal. Now, the Brisa continues higiyai, and it goes to him. The mecher is not batal, which obviously is saisu what we just said. So the Gemara is going to ask. Correct the Gemara, but first we're going to bring the right. Shuma dayanim, the shtus ki yosem ishtus. By shuma dayanim, the din is that a sixth is like yosem ishtus, that it's going to be batal even if it's precisely a sixth. So that sounds like Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rav Huna. L'chayra, it's shver and Rav Huna. Amalach Rav Huna. It says, but the way you're saying it has the din of Shema Dayanim, that we're saying a sixth is treated as more than a sixth, and therefore the mecher is batal. But the Brisa itself ended off with Higiyai. So what are you saying? So he says, Ella, you're obviously going to have to reinterpret this Brisa a little bit. Ella, Kashuma Dayanim Veloy Kashuma Dayanim. We're only comparing it to the din of an evaluation of a dayan, of a bezdin, in one aspect. Kishum hadayanim l'shtus. We're just saying that it has the din of shum hadayanim in that the numerical, the quantity of a mistake has to be a sixth. Meaning, we've been going along, right? We started off originally with the case of someone said a pachas or yaser, and we said in that case the difference has to be a quarter of a kav per saw, which is only 1/24. And now we're saying in this case of the Simanav Meitzarav that it's a sixth, which is clearly very different. That's 4 times but when you say the Saman of a Meitzarav, you have 4 times more room for difference, right? A 24th is 1/4 the size of a difference than a sixth. I know this is very confusing math, but right? A sixth is a much larger discrepancy. I shouldn't say it's a quarter time. It's 4 times larger discrepancy than a sixth. Right? 6 times 4 is 24. So when we say it's Kishum Adayanim, we just mean this insofar that when he said the same, we're saying this particular property, we're sort of saying that I'm taking it in an as-is condition. In that case, the quantity of the mistake that it could be is a sixth. But it's not exactly like Shum Adayanim. But it's when it is exactly a sixth, by Shum Adayanim, it's going to be Kiyosim Ishtas. By over here, it's going to be Higiyai. By Simad of Meitzarav, it's going to be Higiyai. That's the way everyone is going to interpret it. Rapapa Zav and Ara made Rapapa bought land from a fellow. Amalei, Habi Esrin Giruye Mashche. The seller told him, this is 20 saw. Let's say it's 20 measures. And it turned out there was only 15. We're talking about a case which is similar to what we had been talking till now, where he said he said it's going to be, he designated to him exactly which saw that he's selling. Also, the Kamei Abaya. So Papa came to Abaya, he said, I got gypped. This guy told me it was 20 and it was only 15. That's obviously more than a sixth, right? That's a quarter. If you say something is 20 and it's only 15, so it's 5 less. 5 out of 20 is a quarter, which is larger. Also, the Kamei Abaya, and he came to Abaya, Amalei, Savris Mekiblis. He told her Papa, much to his surprise, too bad, so sad. You bought it, you took it, and you have to accept it. You got to pay. You just have to accept this smaller cock. Papa asked him, Pachas mishtos higiyai ad shtos yinaka. We said Pachas mishtos. If the discrepancy is less than a sixth, then you have to accept it. But ad shtos, if it's more than a shtos yinaka, then the seller has to give back the money in proportion to the amount that the property is less than what he had promised. So that's where the person didn't accept it. But the person knew what he was getting, and he accepted it. So then you accepted it. So the Papa asked him, astronomically, how could you say I accepted it? He told me 20, so I accepted 20. I never accepted 15. How can you tell me you accepted it? It's worse than the case of Armin. I didn't accept it. Amalei, da'adifa be'esrim. Da'adifa k'esrim. No, you understood when he said it's 20 saw. It meant it says it produces as much as a property that produces 20 saw of torque. But you didn't think that it meant literally that's the square footage.
So it sounds like the sales pitch.
What?
It sounds like the sales pitch.
It was puffery, right? It was exactly. You should have understood it. We'll stop over here because this is really the next thing. And maybe we'll try to learn tonight to catch up because I got my voice back a little and we started late.